Vito's opening never made more sense than it did today.
I know.
We ain't got shit to do. We're pretty much in a lockdown situation. I think the state of California is totally locked down. But we were wondering, what is it like where you are? 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Give us a call. Let's try to connect a little bit with each other. I think we got the phones worked out. Just let us know what it's like in your neck of the woods. 844 Rock God. I almost said 844 lockdown. I kind of wish we would have had that.
Oh, damn. If we would have had the foresight for that. Lockdown.
I feel bad for Chris because it's not lockdown. No one's ever saying lockdown. No, I got a text from a man, TR, in Los Angeles, California, home of the Doors. And you know how in the morning, Gail, the morning traffic, they show you that map. They do this everywhere where it's green if it's good and then yellow if it's bad and red is like, don't take that. The traffic map in Los Angeles for the first time ever is completely green. And I'm like, this is the one day you really want to be driving in LA, you know?
Yeah. That is it's so weird. It's kind of like their version of the new weird, I guess, as Earl Douglas calls it.
The new weird. He's trying to get that to catch on. It really is not. And in Venice Beach, dolphins were coming up the canals, and it's all crystal clear water now. It's the same as Venice, Italy. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a thing of rhinos running around New York City. We might be getting there. All right. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. We're going to be taking calls in just a little bit, finding out how everybody's doing around the country. Let's share a little bit. But also, Gail, the Instagram has been just filled with comics doing stuff. And last night I was watching, along with our buddy Ian Finance, he had the movie Heavyweights on, and he was just heckling the movie, and it was so wrong yet so funny because he's just going, look how fat they are, look, that loser can't even do that. And there was this one part where for some reason a dog was just going after a fat kid. I don't know why they think dogs do not like chubby boys, but Ian just yells, get him. You just hear this weird, it was so unbelievable. Also, I think Chris Stanley sent this in, and it was just Madonna being very, very weird at her house. And this is going to make, I think, everybody forget about the Imagine video that went around. And she did this one all on her own. She was just being nutty as hell.
She's gone to a place of fully unhinged, and if you watch it, she's doing a very bizarre parody of her own song, which you don't hear a lot.
If she didn't tell me it was a parody, I would not know. I would have zero idea that this was parody. Do you have it, Vito?
Yep.
All right.
Come on, go. Let's go eat some fried fish. Fried fish. Come on, vote and go. Let's go eat some fried fish. Fried fish. 'Cause there's no more pasta. Oh no. So we're gonna eat some fried fish. Fried fish. Yeah.
What the fuck?
She's lost it. We're only about a week in and she's gone.
You know, none of our divas can stay sane. Ever.
No. What is that about the divas? Why? Is it the fame? Is it the talent level? Is it just like the weird people following you around and telling you you're great and you're a queen? What happens?
Is it more stressful aging for them? You know what I mean? Does the whole aging thing get to them in a worse way?
Could be that.
I mean, that was just bananas.
Yeah. But now I don't think I'll ever hear Vogue without thinking about fried fish.
I hope I never hear Vogue.
Also, I think that was like 3 a.m. Is it really time to fry fish?
I never would have thought she would eat fried fish in her life. You know what I mean? She just didn't seem like the fried fish type person.
Fried fish and pasta.
Yeah, I don't get it. But you know, we're all a little nutty. You know, we're all basically on house arrest. The entire world is on house arrest right now.
I saw, my friend Jesse McLaren, who I talk about a lot, and he's at McJesse on Twitter. You should follow him because he has really funny tweets. He had just fashioned himself his own ankle bracelet so he could just feel like he was on house arrest.
Genius. Mm-hmm. I remember when I used to say I'd love to be on house arrest. You know what I mean? I thought that was the best thing in the world. I saw a thing today, too, where, I think it was the French police were just dragging this woman out of a pool, and people were like, yeah, get her! She's outside!
Oh, God. Yeah, people are going to start just turning on their neighbors.
Well, I heard my neighbors yelling across from each other today, a little boy and a lady, and she was just like, yeah, I like dogs, too. And he's like, I have 2 dogs. And I'm like, oh, boy. Oh, boy.
We've gone
All
Madonna.
Right. Vito, let's go to the phones here. Who do you got? Oh, maybe we don't have Vito.
Oh, sorry. I did not hear. I was screening a phone call.
That's okay, buddy.
Wes in Virginia.
Hey, Ron, Gail, how you guys holding up?
Hey,
how's it going?
what's up?
A confirmed positive, found out over the weekend, and I've got a premature daughter at home, so I had to quarantine elsewhere. And in consultation with the county health department I was in, and one of those extended stay type hotels, and they just said, go there, lay low, quarantine. Well, the hotel caught wind of it, and they just tossed me out, and now I'm homeless. I'm literally driving around in my car.
Are they allowed to do that?
So I'm in touch with the health department. Technically, the health department can overrule them, but everything's kind of chaos. So they threatened me with being forcibly removed if I didn't vacate immediately. So I'm just driving around until the health department can straighten it out. But I cannot risk my premature daughter's health.
No, of course. Of course you can't.
And just so you guys know, this thing isn't fun. It's the worst lung pain I have ever experienced in my entire life.
Man.
I'm actually kind of on the upswing now, but yeah. Stay safe, guys.
Okay, brother. Thanks for calling us. Stay in touch.
And let us know how it works out. I hope that they find you a spot.
I don't think anyone's allowed to do that. I mean, if the guy is just staying in his room and not being anywhere else, you know. And of course, when you got a little baby like that, you can't stay there.
Absolutely.
That's a rough one. Wes, we're thinking about you, buddy. Vito.
Next, we got Paul in California.
Hey, Paul.
Bennington.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I just want to call and say thanks. I've been listening to you guys for years, and especially this week when we don't have a lot to do. I'm just thrilled to have you guys on the air and have that touchstone where it's not the news, but it's something that's familiar. And I love listening to you guys, so I'm just thrilled that you guys are still around this week and going forward. Appreciate you guys so much.
What part of California in?
I'm way up north in Chico, California. And shout out to Earl for all those photos as well. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, Earl is crushing it, but I don't know whether he's going to be part of the non-essentials, Gail. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think it would go under the category of non-essential. I hope that he stays careful.
Yeah, I don't know if he's careful at all.
No,
After
I know.
we heard his family, the way that they were just going from house to house like it was, you know, like it was 6 weeks ago.
I've been thinking about those Griswolds ever since. It's just killing me that he said, oh, yeah, my niece and her kids stopped over just to check on my parents. No, there's no checking on anybody. This is the opposite of what we're supposed to do. Stay home.
We wanted to check on our elderly sick mom, so we could see if we could give something to her.
Yes.
The bug. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have Madonna swing by and do her fried fish song.
Me too. It'll lift our spirits.
I don't know whether she's in New York or not. She only lives a few blocks from me, but I feel like I should go up there and make sure that she's okay.
Mm-hmm. Send her some pasta. Seems like she's out.
Pills are good. Pills are good. Vito, I don't want to rush you. I want you to, it's hard for us to be in touch with each other. And I know you're doing a bunch of things there. Vito's been our guy all week.
Yeah. He's doing a fantastic job, and he's doing the work of essentially all the producers. He's a one-man gang.
I saw that you were teaching Juju to bake today, Gail.
Yes, today we had a little home ec class. Not the neatest activity that I could have come up with, but she did have fun, and I feel like that's the biggest thing is just like trying to keep her stimulated. It's really rough with a toddler because they're at that phase where it's like they want to go, go, go all the time.
Yeah, of course, especially her. I don't know why she got into putting on all the different hats that she could today.
Yeah, she's into everything that she could put on, and then, trying to go outside. Today she said outside Juju, which really made me sad. Outside Juju.
Yeah. Well, just on the balcony, honey. Just on the balcony. All right. When you're ready, Vito, you just make the calls. If you want, we can start with Dan.
Dan in Pittsburgh.
Hello.
Hey, buddy, what's happening?
Hey, Ronnie B. How are you, man?
How are things in Pittsburgh?
It's weird. You have the split of the smart people and the hillbillies here, and the hillbilly population really wants to, stick it to the man and go out and do everything. But for the most part, people are pretty courteous.
It's very strange that I also got this thing sent to me today, and I don't know who tweeted it, but TR is the one who sent it to me, Gail, and it was a conspiracy theory, and it just said that the government is faking the coronavirus and making us stay in for 2 weeks so they can change the batteries in all the birds. And I'm like, finally, conspiracy theory I can really get behind.
Yeah, I like the idea of this. Because to be honest with you, anything is, not as creepy as reality anyway. That's how I think of it.
I'm not a big rule follower, but I'm all about being lazy. You know what I mean? I just really, really enjoy, I can't do anything. I can't visit anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I can then for America. You know what's funny, Gail, too? I'm hearing from so many old friends. People are all just checking in with each other. And I think that's, oddly sweet, a very oddly sweet part of this.
I just started doing this a couple of days ago where I'm just going through my phone and just my email list and going, who's somebody, I feel like I should check on today. And I'm just trying to reach out, even if it's just 1 or 2 people a day that I haven't talked to in a while, and make sure they're doing okay. It's kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, it is. It's something people used to do before Facebook, but now we're back to doing it in real life again. All right, Vito, wherever you want to go.
Lindsay in New Jersey.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Lindsay, good to hear from you. How are you?
Hanging in. How are you?
Good.
Well, I'm here during the plague in North Jersey. I worked at NBC for a long time, up until about a year ago, and I've never been so grateful to not be working there now.
Yeah, because they just had that sad story came out of there.
Well, no, that and just commuting into New York and stuff would scare me right now. I don't even know how you guys are, handling it, or how people who are doing it are handling it right now. Yeah,
I mean, it's odd. It's odd for everybody. I got this from Berkshire Blade on Twitter. He says he's in the UK. He can't call from the UK, but they've pretty much nationalized all the jobs and shut down the pubs, gyms, cinemas nationwide. Incredible. The fact that that's happening all over the world is just, it's almost too much to take in, you know?
Yeah, I was just talking to my friend whose family is in India, and India, I think about about a week ago, did the thing where they're like, we're kind of cutting ourselves off, so only if you have a passport can you come in and out. And I believe that they just made the decision, even if you have a passport, no one's coming in and out. So if you are a citizen and you're outside of the country, you're not getting back in. You have to stay where you are. And they have also like a massive amount of, Indian citizens who are now stuck other places. So it's very weird to think that around the world we're having a very bizarre unified experience right now.
It is the most unified experience of my life because, even if you think of weather, it's different everywhere. Time is different everywhere, But in this case, all of humanity is kind of experiencing the same thing and trying to just do the best we can with it. And I just keep thinking to myself that, there is going to be another side to this. And, we'll see what happens, but this is our world. We're going to try to make the best of it that we can. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. It's the Bennington Show, the only father-daughter radio show in the history of radio. Vito is the only one of us at SiriusXM. Gail and I are both in our homes in Manhattan and Brooklyn. Vito, what do you got for us?
David in Wisconsin, you're on Bennington.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, buddy.
I'm an artist, and I do I'll travel all over the country for all the art festivals. And slowly, one by one, they're all getting canceled, and that kind of makes it hard to make a living.
Yeah, it does. And everybody's in some kind of weird, hopefully just temporary holding pattern that way. But making a living is going to be a whole new strange thing. There's no way about it. Gail, I was talking to a young friend of mine yesterday who just got laid off, and, he'd be able to collect unemployment. And he said, I'd rather, he goes, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I could work. He goes, I would go to a grocery, I just want to help, he said. I could go to a grocery store and help unload trucks or stack or whatever. I'm like, man, we never thought of those jobs as being helpful. You know what I mean? We always, the service industry, the food industry, the trucking industry. Maybe the good thing about this is we start to appreciate people no matter what job they're doing, and we see it for what it really is, completely essential to life.
Yeah, I was thinking that a lot about just the way that people should be looking at people who are providing us our groceries. Not even just food service, but the people who now are considered almost like emergency workers who are ringing you up and bagging your groceries now.
Of course. You have people working there, and also people at the farms and people that are moving the food around the country. These are, and always have been, essential jobs. Jobs. So hopefully, I think what good could come out of all this? And maybe a good part of this is the way that we look at each other, Does Madonna have an essential job? Yeah, of course she does. She's Madonna. Does. But really, in a time like this, do we need Madonna's parody song? Or could we need somebody who's dropping off apples, Yeah,
I mean, let's go with the apples, obviously. But the moment of entertainment you got from Madonna, sure, that it does help you get by.
I'm going to call that entertainment concern. I have a little bit of both, You know what I mean? I really want to go check on her. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Go ahead, Vito.
Glenn in Nova Scotia.
Hey, buddies, we're up here.
Hey, pal, what's up?
Same as New York. Everything is shut down. We're on lockdown. In our liquor stores. Ronnie, how are we going to survive? Frankie doesn't know what to do. Frankie doesn't know if he should be getting his KFC. He thinks we should have a month's worth of food on hand. That's a lot of KFC, right?
Yeah.
But, we're making it through, buddy. Thank God for Bennington every day.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate hearing from you. He's talking about the great Frankie McDonald, the world's weatherman, who now is doing a lot of Corona updates, Gail.
Yeah, I've heard him do a couple early on, and it was very strange, like to hear him have to move over from weather to global pandemic. But you know what? He's such a consummate professional. He was able to shift, and I think his broadcasting skills really shine here.
Gail, how are you all getting along together during your quarantine?
There is a very strange thing that usually happens in the morning, where as hard as all the news is, we kind of wake up and we feel like, okay, we're starting our day. And then we have this weird thing where we're eating breakfast at the table all together, me, my toddler, my husband. And this is not something that we do on a weekday. Like, you might have that on a weekend where you have a slow moving weekend day where you don't have plans. So it's weird because we're trying to kind of focus at times of the fact that, as crazy it is to have two parents working in the house and a toddler, we're spending this time together. And in a very strange way, we're like, will we look back on this time as a very weirdly sweet time in which we were all together and so close? We're spending every moment with our daughter.
Well, if you remember, after 9/11, people started to be nostalgic for the feelings that took place in the weeks and months that followed, because people were being a little more appreciative of everything, the little things, whatever. So it is a possibility. Now, you came out with the term quarantine, right?
Yeah.
Quarantined, and that's your quarantine mate that you're spending time with. We saw Gurion lose to Denny, Bobby shellacked to Rich Voss. Today's the first day we put one up that there's actually complaints that people didn't want to make the Sophie's Choice, and that's Dan Soder and Big J.
Yeah, now, this is a difficult one.
Well, here's the thing. You're not shipping one out to sea. You know what I mean? You're just saying this is not as heavy as people are letting go. And you're just saying, for me personally, I could prefer to stay with this one person. The other person isn't taken out back and shot. Now, Dan Soder has jumped out to a lead here over Big J. And that's because he's also a sex symbol. You know?
Right. Yeah, that does help. Perhaps that, maybe it's billions. Who knows? You never know what's going to work for somebody in this time.
You have an aunt that's completely in love with Dan Soder and can't believe that I know him. I don't like it's Dan. Now, here's an interesting drag on this, is that I would easily pick both their girlfriends. They both have girlfriends that I love. So to me, that only shows that you're a good dude. You know what I mean? Like, when you have a cool girlfriend, then I know that person is cool.
I haven't met Dan's girlfriend, but I would, if it was a three-way dance, definitely would have picked Christine.
Yeah. You mean if we were put Christine in this, like just bonfires, we should have done that. I'd have picked her in a heartbeat too. And my life would have been organized. Now, we put up a new one. I don't think you've seen this yet, Gail, and this is going to be a tough one for you. It's someone you love, Amy Schumer, which would be a funny quarantine, up against someone you love who's got a new album dropping today, Bonnie McFarlane.
Oh, my God. That's so difficult.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to be very entertained either way. But I think
Here's my problem with this. Why put Amy in color and Bonnie in black and white? I think, from a psychology point of view, it gets to you. Although Bonnie has jumped out to a very early big lead.
Oh, nice.
Because, Bird Call is available. That's the brand new album by Bonnie McFarlane. At Bonnie McFarlane, make sure you give her a little tweet for this. Vito, we are checking in with people all around the country, seeing how things are going. Give us our next call.
Lori in Syracuse.
Hi, buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, buddies.
Hey, what's up, Lori?
Well, I'm working from home, and today's my last day before I get furloughed.
Yeah.
So Monday I don't have to go to work.
Yeah, that's happening to a lot of us, and you just do the best you can with it, But how are you? How are you mentally?
Not great, because I was supposed to go on a cruise that I would have left Sunday. And last week I was supposed to go see you at the Turning Stone. I had tickets, and at the last minute I couldn't go. And I just felt crushed about both of those. I haven't got my positive attitude back yet.
No, it's something you got to work at the whole time. There's no doubt about it. And there's moments every day for even the most positive people. Gail, you brought up like first thing in the morning, and when I hear all the new news first thing in the morning, I'm like, this is too much. I'm trying to stay away from the constant news, but you have friends texting you, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And you're just like, okay, all right.
See, for me, it was last night I went to a very dark place, and I think it was Juju fell asleep in my arms, and I put her down in the crib, and as soon as I did, I literally would say I cried so hard I would call it wept. I would say I wept because I cried so much, and I think I just went to this really sad place where I was like, what is this world? What is this world that she lives in, and what will become of it? And I got very overwhelmed, and I had read an article just before and was feeling just so down. I could not have felt worse. And I think that happens to me at night. Like the darkness kind of sets in. I think we lose the sunlight. It just gets a little rougher for me.
This is a time where I'll say old movies. Turner Classic Movies could be the best thing for you. And then you're just seeing people touching each other and kissing each other and, living what we would consider a normal life. But, Gail, if you would have said to everybody a little while ago, hey, does this world need a reboot? You know what I mean? Would the way everybody's treating each other, would it be a good idea to stop this thing and kind of get restarted? And maybe this is it. Maybe this is a real positive that's going to come out of this. And it may, like childbirth, ache for a while, but it might be a chance for people to take a look at our philosophy and go, hey, what are we wanting to do from this point on?
I also had this thought that I wonder if this will also be something that maybe in the future it'll be easier for people to take the environment, global warming, things like that more seriously, because we see almost what it would be like to lose our way of life, and that something that impacts us globally would look like, and that we truly do want a better future for the next generation. And maybe, as horrible as the situation is, maybe this could wake us up to that. Possibly.
100%. 100%. And, all you got to do is take a look at the movies that they've sent out to us, and it could even be worse. So let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Let's be open and see what happens.
And also, when it comes to sacrifice, too, like, look at how much we're sacrificing, those of us who are, taking social distancing seriously, not only to keep us and our families safe, but our neighbors and people, second, third hand from you this could be devastating for. So we obviously can sacrifice things. So if there are sacrifices that we need that would help our environment, we obviously can do it, because look at what we're doing now.
All right, 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God, checking in to see what it's like in your part of the world. Also, go over to our social media, and you can vote on the quarantine mate thing, which is always fun. Bonnie has jumped out to a very, very big lead over Amy Schumer. So I'm going to give Amy a little helpful thing here and remind everyone that Bonnie is a vegan.
Don't forget
Do
that.
Do you really want to be with someone who doesn't think chicken wings are a part of the essential list for what we need right now? Oh, we're fine. We've got carrots and olives. Okay. Vito, back to the phones.
Sal in New Jersey.
Hey, buddies. How you doing?
Hey, Sal.
Hey, what's up?
So I work at a county jail in North Jersey, and it's like a world inside of a world. It's a little bit different, though. Smaller groups of inmates that can walk around. Their timeouts are limited. Nobody's allowed in or out except for staff, and we have to have our temperatures taken before we can go inside. We do have a couple confirmed cases, but they've been quarantined. That's officers and inmates. So it's a scary time. I got a young son at home. He's 6 years old, and my wife is home, staying home. But some of the officers, like we're tight knit family, and some of the officers that don't have families or don't have children, they're kind of stepping up and taking shifts for people that do. So I just wanted to fill you in on that.
Thank you very much. I know that the weirdness of the prison system is very, very scary right now, because it's very hard to those people are together 24 hours a day, and there's like 1,000 of them. It's really, really rough.
There's a lot that they're looking into now, just like trying to minimize risk for prison population and people who work there as well.
Vito, back to the phones, pal.
Kevin in Washington State.
Kevin in Washington State. How you doing, pal? Hey.
Oh, I'm hanging in there. It's crazy out here. I'm a truck driver over here delivering food to grocery stores and that, and you really see the true person out there. I unloaded at a store midday yesterday, and there were like 40 people just standing around the docks waiting to see if they took toilet paper or something off my truck they wanted.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where we are from here and there a little bit. And, of course, they've already said that the hoarding makes this kind of stuff even worse. So, be mindful of everybody. We're just checking in a little bit. We finally got our phones at the spot we want it to be. You're listening to Sirius XM. This is Ron and Gail Bennington, and we're all part of the lockdown that's taking place around the country. New York City is weird. Earl has pictures up online that I can't believe, and I'm, blocks away from some of this stuff. It's just weird to see New York City with empty streets. That didn't even happen during 9/11.
No.
There was never a point during that people weren't out filling the bars and the clubs. Vito, let's go back to you on the phones, buddy. Where you got?
Tony in Iowa.
Hey, my police scanner's going crazy. Over the last week, there's a whole lot more break-ins and domestic violence calls.
I don't even know if it's a whole lot more. It's just the fact that nothing else is happening makes you realize that this stuff takes place. But Also, I was even thinking about that. When you're with someone that you don't get along with, it has to be rough. But you have a real responsibility now to fucking be cool. Like, even if I was with someone I hated, Gail, I would think to myself, this is, we're in the aquarium together. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, because now you don't just live together, you guys work together. Like you're doing every little tiny thing. And then you're also survival planning with each other. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what do we need? Who's going to get this thing? How are we? All of that kind of stuff. It requires a lot of teamwork, whether that is your spouse or your roommate or whoever the person is you've shut yourself in with. You certainly want to be well matched.
We're all in a bunch of little lifeboats in one giant lifeboat. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure your little lifeboat is safe, but the big lifeboat as well. The one thing that I'm nervous because I did so much traveling before and meeting people. I was in theaters. I was on airplanes. I'm in hotels. I'm just brushing up against people. I was on a cruise ship in the last couple of weeks. But I'm more nervous that as far as carrying the thing, that I could have passed it on to another person. You know what I mean? That is the thing man, I just hope for that reason, I'm not some kind of a weird typhoid Ronnie.
I know. I think that's and I think that's a good natural fear to have. It's like the best way to operate right now is not just, I hope that I stay healthy and that I don't get sick, but the assumption I am sick and now I have to change my behavior as if I'm protecting everybody else in the world.
It's also weird that, all right, you check in and you tell people that you're sick, but you don't necessarily get medicine. You know what I mean? Like, right. You're pretty much just going to be sick at your home, or like Wes that we were talking to earlier, find a new place to be away from people that are compromised, Right. You have to watch out for those people.
Right, because this thing is on there's kind of a scale to it, depending on how it could affect you. And for some people, it would affect them very severely. So obviously we have to reserve hospital beds and space for those types. So anybody who has, it sounds like mild to moderate symptoms, is just like write it out at home is really rough.
Of course, but most of the time, like when we would just get a flu, it never would occur to us to, I'm going to go to the emergency ward with this flu. You know what I'm saying? It would have to get pretty bad before you think I really need to be in the hospital. But I have to admit, hearing that lung thing was not comforting at all.
No.
All right, it's 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. It's Ron and Gail Bennington. We are quarantined ourselves, both of us working from home. Chris Stanley working from home. Vito is he considers himself an essential, so he's there at the Sirius XM studios. And Andy Fiore saw you dressed up as your little cop character and asked you to stay out of his office.
Well, I might be using that office next week, so that sucks for people who aren't here.
By the way, Andy Fiore is another one of those guys who I just watched his comedy explode over the last year and a half. And now he's being put on pause as the rest of the world. It's just I know, it's just one thing that I can identify with, when I just see people doing well, and I'm sure this is true in every other kind of lifetime. You think this one thing was going good for me and now I got to stop.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the phones, Vito. Who do we got?
Joe in Virginia. Joe,
Hello.
you there?
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Hey, Joe.
Hey, thanks for doing this, by the way. I'm so glad you guys are on the air.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I wanted to say I'm very fortunate that you got to have gratitude if you have a family and they're healthy and you're healthy and you're still getting a paycheck. It's unreal the people that are losing their jobs.
Yeah, well, it's very, very common. It's very, very common, and we'll see how we all do with it. Perhaps there'll be a situation where new opportunities open up. I don't know, but yeah, that's difficult. We're going around the country right now. Who do we got, Vito?
We have Gary in Florida.
Hey,
Gary, what part of
Hey, guys.
what part of Florida are you in?
I'm down by Fort Myers, southwest.
Mm-hmm.
You there?
I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
know that
got
area
you.
very well.
Yeah, it's awesome down here. But like everybody else, we're dealing with it. I just want to relay to you guys, it seems like the distance between you is bringing the show more intimacy, kind of like a pirate radio kind of vibe where you guys are out there, but not together, but still a lot closer than you typically are. It's really pretty damn cool.
I'll tell you this. I was even thinking about this. I'm just so happy that the one little benefit is to keep getting just stuff of Juju dancing and being crazy and all that. And I don't know why she put on so many different hats today. I guess she was a little bored, Gail.
Yeah, she was feeling a little bored. She's feeling like I think she needs to express herself a little. But yeah, she's obviously keeping us really light, and being able to do stuff like FaceTime and video call family and stuff, I think is really helpful. And like he said, honestly, having the show and being able to check in with each other and talk to everybody each day is really helpful for us too.
By the way, I got a message from Wardy today after he saw my dance video, and he just wrote to me the Twin Oaks Shuffle. I was so laughing because it wasn't like I just invented a nutty dance now. You know what I mean? That's been around. That has been around. We're all just going to do whatever we can do to get the best out of whatever our situations, because we don't really have a choice. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Vito, you said the hotline's ringing?
The hotline is ringing. It's Hard Rock Johnny.
Hey.
Hey, Johnny.
Bennington.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. Really. Honestly, nothing. Legitimately, we can all just say what nothing is happening right now.
All right.
Now, are you still training for your job? What's going on? What happens now?
That's been a very scary subject for me. Starting a brand new job that really is a little bit nebulous as to when it's supposed to really start is a scary thing. And got a phone call today that my job is safe, which made me very happy because I honestly was nervous. But
sure,
took a little hit for, as the rest of the company, all the executives decided they would take a little bit of a less of a paycheck, and I'm happy to take less of a paycheck and still have a job. So,
all right, good for you, Johnny.
Yeah.
All right, checking around. Yeah, got to do what you got to do, buddy. That is absolutely true. 866 Rock God, 866 Rock God, checking in.
844.
844. I'm so sorry. 844 Rock God. We'll take a few more calls before we go to break. What do you got for us, Vito?
Kenny in Tennessee.
Hey, Kenny, what's up, pal?
Hey, buddies. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm a truck driver. Been driving for about 20 years, and this is about the worst I've seen. Well, we're treated like second class right now. You go to truck stops, you're not allowed to go in to get anything to eat, and they're even shutting down the restrooms. You can't even use the restrooms in there. They're putting porta potties out where we have to use them.
Because they're acting like you guys could be
Like we got
infected.
something.
Wow, I had no idea this.
Pennsylvania's doing it, Kansas is doing it, and Oklahoma is doing it. That's the ones I've been in that's actually done it. The Flying J is a large truck stops, and they actually won't let us even get showers. They have shut down the showers right now, so, we're stuck out here. I'm fortunate enough, I go home every weekend, But, you know, you got to get a shower. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
Absolutely, my friend. All right, well, stay in touch with us. I'm sorry to hear about some of that. I guess, you can understand, the weirdness of it all, but that is something that, we got to keep these guys comfortable and moving around the country, because the last thing you want to do is have that stop. I was got a note from our friend Kathleen, and, Bri-Bri's out there delivering food, making stuff happen around the country. It's absolutely essential. It's absolutely first responder work right now.
Yeah, and you think about, when we make the call, okay, a grocery store is essential. Now I hope that we start to appreciate the amount of people it takes to get that on the shelves in the first place, and think about all of those people who are constantly keeping us fed.
All right, we're going around the country seeing how everybody is doing, and then we'll get back to a little more silliness. But I am very, very, it's very interesting for me to hear, is I don't hear a lot of people blaming right now. I hear a lot of people doing their best to cope. Vito, who do you got for us?
We got Rob in Mississippi.
Rob.
What's happening?
How you doing, pal?
Did y'all hear? I am doing good.
Yeah.
Doing good. Like the last 48 hours, it seems down in Mississippi, we finally started taking it seriously. And I went to a grocery store like earlier, and it was full of people, but you could almost hear a pin drop, like it was a library. I mean, it was so quiet. It's so strange. Not only we're friendly down here, we stop and chat, but here lately, that's all come to a screeching halt. I mean, nobody speaks to each other. It's really strange. But I tell you what's kind of alarming is with my job, I travel through Mississippi and some of Louisiana on a regular basis. And there's a little town, I'm not even going to name the name of the town, about 75 miles north of New Orleans that had a buffet, wide open, self-serve. It was the day before yesterday. I mean, full of people, touching stuff, eating stuff. I could not believe what I saw.
Yeah. Well, like you said, people aren't approaching each other out of that. This is the new social nice thing. You know what I mean? It's socially better now to give each other a little distance. And again, it doesn't mean that anyone thinks that you're that you're carrying it. It means that they could be carrying it themselves. We just got to give each other a little distance. If we get rid of buffets, I think it could be great for the whole world anyway. That could be one of the positives.
I think so too. Yeah, this could be something that happens in our new world, that we suddenly go, this sneeze glass really isn't enough.
Yes. And maybe I can just have my starches one at a time rather than pile them on two plates.
I mean, does anyone need this much Jell-O? Is this necessary?
It's a lot of Jell-O. Yeah.
Yeah. Next to my king crab legs? No.
It's always so funny with them, because I would never make myself, and I never would say after dinner, yeah, I'll have an ice cream. But you do that when you're at the buffet. You're like, I already paid for it, and it's right there. It's self-serve.
There it is. I think I'll have a swirl.
Vito, let's go back to the phones.
Jim in Texas.
Hey, Jim, what's up?
Not much. How you guys? Hey, I'm a truck driver, and it just pisses me off when truckers call in and do stuff like they just did, that other guy. We get all of our fuel from Flying J and Pilot, which are the biggest ones out there. And they're not shut down, like he said. You can get a shower. I got a shower last night. Now they are shutting down like all the restaurants, but the restaurants are open for us to take takeout.
Right. Now, and that's the way most restaurants are becoming around the country. My friend Mike in Chicago, his place is just takeout now. And the other weird thing is, like, you're noticing now, like, you're like, oh, I do want things to be shut down, but not my coffee place. I'd like my coffee place to stay open, please. But I will also say this about a trucker. I've never taken a phone call from a trucker that another trucker didn't call back later and just say bullshit on everything that he said.
Yeah, I love that. Always. Like if they say something like, oh, traffic in this, or this is the way we do things, there's always one to go, hell no, that's not true. That man's a liar. That's awesome.
Back to the phones, Vito.
John in Kansas.
Hey, John.
Hey, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Sure, us too.
Hey, it's really weird out here. A lot of people around here are really kind of questioning everything that's been going on, but, it's happening. And I think the big news hit when they canceled all K through 12 school here in the entire state of Kansas. And last I knew, this was the only state to do it. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but
no, I mean that's pretty much everywhere. Now you were saying that it was a state, and a lot of people were denying and thinking this thing was more overhyped than anything.
Yeah, I mean at the beginning of the week, last weekend, you could just kind of see it, and the way everybody was talking about stuff and the way everybody was reacting, everyone was really questioning it, but whether they still are or not, it's happening. But I mean, I just want to say, in my industry, I'm a wheat farmer and a soybean farmer, and we're not stopping because the calendar is not affected by this thing. So we're keeping agriculture moving, and we're still going.
Well, I appreciate your call, John, and I'm going to say I was probably closer to being the way the people of Kansas felt about it. I just could not imagine this thing the way that it actually played out. I just did not have the imagination for that. And as it went along, I guess each of us are accepting it at our own pace. But, when you see states being shut down and closed down and people saying if we do this, it means it'll be less of a hit that we're taking.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you have, it's like when a hurricane comes, you could bitch and complain or you could be positive, but the hurricane's going to hit both people the same way. It's just a matter of what you do with it,
Yeah, that's true.
How you prepare.
And I think even those who were taking it seriously, or at least those who thought that it might become a serious problem if you were following Wuhan or if you were following what was happening in Italy as it started to roll out in Italy, I honestly think no one thought, at least your average person, that it would be at the scale that it is now. Like, I kept thinking, it's not that I'm afraid of catching coronavirus, but I was really nervous about what would happen if, say, and in my mind, I was like, if New York City is quarantined like Wuhan was. And I kept thinking, oh man, that will be really crazy. Not thinking, one, that it was going to be everywhere, not just, cities or places where there was going to be a lot of people living on top of each other. And I certainly never thought that we would be looking at the length of time and averages that health officials and our government are giving us now. I think, if you thought this was kind of blown out of proportion or you thought it was something serious, I think either person is shocked by the scale.
I think when you basically had Trump turn around on it, I think you were like, uh-oh. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh-oh. Yeah. But here we are, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
We are doing it. 844 Rock God. It's Ron and Gail Bennington. We're just asking how people are doing around the country. And there's hopefully a chance for all of us to see that there's light somewhere, and we're all going to do our best to get to it. And who knows? Maybe we'll end up having a better world. We really, really don't know. 844 Rock God. Who we got, Vito?
Captain Stacy.
Hey, folks.
Hey,
I'm
Captain.
really proud of you.
Hey,
folks. I'm really proud of you all making the sacrifice and doing all this. And Ron,
Not really.
really enjoying the way that you're closing the show every day with a positive statement. Really, really glad about that.
It's certainly not in my natural way of being. You know what I mean? That's no one ever thinks, hey, that Bennington is a positive guy. But, we have very little choice in this case. We have very little choice. It's happening either way.
Greatly appreciate it. No, I'm currently in Gulf, Texas right now, trying to keep international ships coming in crude oil. So for some reason, the truck drivers keep wanting some fuel. So we'll keep it moving for them. But really, what you all are doing.
I appreciate that your work that you're doing, Captain Stacy. We'll talk to you again soon.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Captain Stacy's running tugboats and ships and all kinds of stuff. And, the world's got to keep moving, even if it slows down a little bit. Hey, who do we got next, Vito?
Next up, we have Damien in North Carolina.
Hey, Damien.
Hey, Bennington. Hope you're doing well. Things were seemingly as normal as they could be, as strange as times are. Look, it's kind of a throwback in my neighborhood. Kids are out, people are out walking. It's great. Very grateful to have what we do have, and walked in this morning to my office, and boss came in and said, we're too afraid of things slowing down too much, and it's not working out. Pack up your office and you're out of here. So got fired on a Friday during a pandemic. Yeehaw.
Yeah, it's the standard way. We're all on that same edge. It can happen to any of us at any time, and then you just try to figure out, okay, where do we go from with some of this stuff? 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Who do we got next, Vito?
We have Fran in Connecticut.
Hey, Fran.
Hey, Ron. How are you? Hi, Gail.
Hey, how's it going?
Maybe how are you is not the right question to ask, but I am a director of an inner city community-based healthcare provider. I'm not a clinician. I am in upper management. I'd like to just talk a little bit about the people that are at what I like to call the tip of the spear, and those are the people that are working extremely hard throughout this country in many different medical facilities, doing their very best to identify anybody who may have COVID-19 or any other issues that may arise during this time. So I'd like to just reach out and kind of say, thank you to them. I see them every day. I have to go into the office every day. It's a complete life change. I get home from work. I undress in the garage, immediately bag my clothing, bring it in, and put it into the washing machine. It may be a little overkill, but, you're always better safe than sorry. And I think for the folks that are dealing with this, not from a perspective of being a healthcare provider or even being support for healthcare providers, they should also take this extremely serious. It's not a joke. It's not a false flag. It is not what other media outlets or individuals on social media might want to try to tell you. But if you are home with your family and you are in a quarantine position for yourselves, if you can go 2 weeks and nothing happens, doesn't mean you can run outside and immediately go to the movies or wherever if those are back open. But what it does tell you is that nobody in your family's been infected. So that's the time to really start thinking about staying away from others until they can at least be identified to whether or not they have this issue. Now, that being said, 2 years ago, we received a letter where I work from the Department of Homeland Security telling us we no longer needed to keep our emergency preparedness storage because that whole program had been dissolved. Just after 9/11, when we remember anthrax was going around, the federal government decided that our next attack on this country could be a biological or chemical attack. So at that point in time, we were supplied with everything we would have needed through this situation we're experiencing today. But we were told 2 years ago that this is no longer needed. Do what you want with the supplies, use them, throw them away. So at the end of the day, we should really be thinking coming out of this, well, some of us will, some of us won't. But we should really think about the future, not only for our kids, but for our grandchildren. So,
all right, my friend. I appreciate your call.
Thank you so much for that.
And obviously that's all a lot of big stuff, and it's stuff that has to get worked out in the long term. It, this is what it is right now. Might be a good place for a break, but Gail, maybe this is something we can do every once in a while.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But, we'll jump back into some silly talk when we're done. I want to remind people that Bonnie McFarlane's got an album out that you can pick up, and she's also part of our Quarantine Mates thing. You can vote on that online. We'll take a break here, Gail. Bennington.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show! Bennington is back, and this is Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show.
Bennington is back, doing a little social distance radio. I'm here in Brooklyn. Ron is in Manhattan. Vito at the Sirius XM studios, and that was really great to be able to open the phones and talk to everybody and check up. That was great.
Yeah, we're all out there. We're all kind of dealing with this thing together. But Gail, you were telling us that you had some kind of like 90s nostalgia snack thing going on, and I thought we'd check in with Chris Stanley to see where he is on this as well.
He's kind of a 90s bitch, so it makes sense.
Is that what it's called, a 90s bitch?
Yeah, there was that song where I can't even remember. You remember it's like, okay, and like her cut was, you're from the 70s and I'm a 90s bitch. And I think of that all the time. That's me and Chris.
I always thought that she was saying, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care, but
I don't care.
You're from the 70s, and that's true. And we're 90s bitches.
Well, I do the Twin Oaks Shuffle, so I can't
That's true.
I can't deny. Chris Stanley, do we have you?
I don't care. I love it. I'm here, Ron.
I do know this song. I'm very, very proud that I'm aware of this song. I just don't know what they say outside of the hooks.
I'm going to be honest. Just then, I thought that why would Vito let this female caller on when we're looking for Chris? I literally didn't think that you could hit that note, Chris. I literally thought that was a woman.
It was high. But, Chris, what were you singing about fried fish and no pasta? I didn't understand that part.
Well, the quarantine's getting to me, and I'm just really, really feeling fried fish right now. I just need a lot of Long John Silver's fish sticks.
This is true of me. I've never eaten at a Long John Silver's in my life, and I'm not even sure that I've ever been able even to pull into the parking lot. You know what I mean? And have you ever been with a friend who was like, "Hey, you want to just pull in here?" And and it's the only restaurant I ever said, "I don't think I can do this." You know what I mean? I don't think I know what that is. I don't know what kind of fish I'll be eating.
That's me with Arby's. I've never done it. I've always thought, hot roast beef is not something I want fast food style. And it feels weird because I feel like that's a pretty big chain, and I've never done it.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to do fast food, you got to do a burger. I'm not going to get out of that. But who knows? The future might be completely different. Before we jump into this, Gail, I want you guys to hear this thing. And Vito, it should be on the iBang, but it's listed under Jeff Goldblum takes a phone call from Gal Gadot. But Jeff Goldblum is one of those guys that people can do an impression of, and I like it every single time. It doesn't matter who's doing it. There's something very joyful about a Jeff Goldblum impression. Tell us when you found it, Vito.
Got it.
Let her rip.
Gal, it's Jeff Goldblum. Yes, I want to get back. I got your text about singing, imagine. I can't imagine what it has to do with anything going on right now, but I just want to let you know that Jeff Goldblum's answer is no.
So good.
It's so stupid. It's not the best Jeff Goldblum I've ever heard. There's no reason for the entire premise, and yet I laughed like a little girl when I heard it.
It's so good. I mean, he certainly has the cadence down. Like, that's what's key.
Did I ever tell you guys that I saw Jeff Goldblum? He used to work out at my gym, and he asked me to spot him once.
No, this is what is wrong with you that you would have this in your back pocket?
He asked me to spot him, and it's very visual. But he walked up and he went, "Can you and then he started making with his arms doing a bench press and just going, yeah."
Okay, this is Vito. You are so naive. He was cruising you, you idiot. You could have said, "Can I ever tell you about the time I fucked Jeff Goldblum?" That's the story you could be telling, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I wear the little Virgin Mary around my neck, and I'd done something with him, and then he just came in, reached in my shirt, and pulled that necklace out, right? And he's like, "What is this? Who is she?" And I'm like, "Well, it's it's the Virgin Mother. My friend Kathleen from the Bronx made this." He's like, "She makes these. She's amazing." I go, "Yeah, this is closer. You know what I mean? That I kind of want to be with this. You still are inches away from me, holding on to something around my neck like a leash."
The intimacy of reaching into someone's shirt, to grab their necklace is more than most people would be comfortable with.
Some people are comfortable with it. A lot of people in the acting world are very, very comfortable. Better Things last night. I never thought I'd see this on national television. Just the word cunt dropped about 15, 20 times in a row. And I remember when Pamela Adlon came in, I go, "This isn't going to happen. This isn't going to go down this way. They're not going to run this." They did.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Yeah, we were discussing with her, is this going to air as is? And she's saying, as of right now, they're saying yes. So we kind of looked like, how is that possible?
It's not going to happen. We've figured out that language doesn't matter. Bernie Sanders says fuck yesterday. Nobody got mad. Trump said fuck a week ago. He thought he had pen on his shirt. No one got mad. There's no reason for it. Here's a tweet for you guys. Jeff Ross just tweeted out, "I haven't worn a bra in a week." It's fucking funny as shit. Dean Del Rey is bragging that he cleaned his phone for the first time. Yeah, a lot of people are noticing phones.
Yeah, I was thinking with all this hand washing. Really, maybe months ago, there was like a Shark Tank where you put your phone into this like little case and it would like disinfect your phone. And I remember being like, who would buy that? And now I'm like, I wish I had that thing.
I wish I had two of them. You just find out how you can be a distributor now. All right, this person tweeted us this. This is Damien. The world outside my window is dramatically different from the world you guys are describing around you. And he just shows a bunch of kids at a playground and playing basketball and acting fairly normal. It's really funny. All right, Shane also put this. See if you can find this on Twitter. Shane Gillis said, "We were going to make a parody of Imagine. Midway through, we realized it was cornier. It was corny and funnier to trick our friend into singing a full song and just release his video only." You fucking prick. So I believe he did it to Josh Adam Myers. So we're going to try to find that.
I got it.
All right. Let's I guess the premise is they acted like they were going to put out this thing, and it wasn't Imagine. I guess it was I don't know what kind of song it was, but let's give it a listen.
Oh, ah, oh, ah. Oh,
what?
Oh, wow. This is ridiculous. Drowning deep in your sea of loathing, broken your servant I know. When you give it to me, seems what's left of my human side is slowly changing in me. When you give it to me, look at my own reflection. When suddenly it changes, violently it changes. Wow, how the hell sound your hair sound hell now, soaking up the demon in me. Get up,
All
you're
right,
coming down with the sickness.
All right, let's stop it there. So Shane set this thing up, but apparently he just didn't do it to Josh Adam Myers. He did it to Shane Gillis, Dan Soder. I don't know who else is on this list, but Shane's a fucking asshole. You know what I mean?
God.
No one should ever trust him again.
No, never.
All right, Gail, this list because you were talking about these snacks. Now, I am not a 90s bitch, so there's nothing about 90s snacks that I went running out to try because you only really do this when you're a dumb child.
I'm going to be honest, a majority of these are going to be like kids-related snacks. Some of them you might remember from just like parties and such because it's just like snack foods and stuff that people would put out. But this is good. First of all, everyone's feeling really snacky, and I see a lot of people talking about stress eating right now. Like a lot of people were saying they blew through their quarantine snacks within the first 3 days.
I actually yelled at your mom, "You're wasting our snacks. We shouldn't be eating this many snacks. We should have like 3 little puffs each, and that's it."
Ration, everyone, ration.
Ration. Thank you very much, Chris.
Yes.
It's so odd to see Chris Stanley on this edge of conservatism, but he is our conservative guy this time.
He has been really of sound mind with this whole thing, and it's just been shocking to see, particularly yesterday when we talked to an Earl Douglas, who you would think would be more neurotic and nervous about things. Has been totally reckless with him and his family's health, and Chris has been taking this very seriously.
Earl is going to be arrested. There's no doubt in my mind that he's in these places taking pictures and acting like this is eerie. It's eerie that you're out, Earl. Everyone else is inside. Think of the amount of lunatics that live in New York, and you're the one outside. Yeah. By the way, I'd like to say this, too, for our own Chris Stanley. He is of sound mind and round body. And I feel like I can say this because for the first time in my life, I dropped a little weight. And it's frightening how quick you now suddenly find fat jokes to be funny.
It feels good, right?
I'm getting it back. Any weight I did lose, Ron, it's getting back very quickly.
I'm watching Gail baking, and I'm like, uh-oh, here we go.
Don't
I'm
you
glad
dare
I'm not
body shame me
quarantined with her.
during this quarantine. I'm literally probably the only one still working out, weirdly, to like FaceTime videos.
So many people are writing to me of like, hey, here's a great class you could be part of. And I'm like, doesn't that just defeat the entire purpose of being able to stay home?
Also, I did get 10,000 steps in my quarantine home yesterday. Because
That's sad.
What it's like for having a toddler.
Chasing her. All right, let's go through this snack list, this 90s snack list. And apparently all these snacks are gone, Gail. They don't exist anymore.
These are discontinued snacks, and I'm sure we would all feel great if they were back right about now. Chris, do you remember Sprinklins? Sprinklins, which was just like a neon Dannon yogurt with just like cookie sprinkles on the top.
It was the only way my parents could get me to eat yogurt, so I fucking just crushed Sprinklins. I ate it all the time.
I'm going to say this. I've never heard of Sprinklings, but the fact that your parents, out of all the shitty things they did, decided their little fat boy needed yogurt is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to even ask this, Gail. What is the health benefit of yogurt to begin with?
I don't know, but for some reason, from what I can tell, all women need it for their vaginas. If you watch commercials, it just seems like we really need those active cultures. It has something to do, I don't know, with yeast production. I'm not sure, but
well,
apparently
Chris has plenty of that. Now, here's the thing, though. Somebody told me that only the Greek yogurt even has a health benefit. Like all the different flavored pretty yogurts are a fucking waste of your time.
Right. Like even if it has active cultures, I'm sure if it has something like 14 grams of sugar, that's going to just cancel out any health benefits it could ever have.
Living my best life with this candy yogurt. It's really, really good for me.
Okay. I feel like this is one that everyone will remember. The Reese's Peanut Butter Bites. There were like little pops of Reese's. So it was like a round chocolate with a peanut butter center.
Yep.
They were very big in movie theaters.
I'm going to throw this in. You have something that's perfect, like a Reese's cup, right? And the reason why it's perfect is the direct peanut butter to chocolate ratio, okay? I don't fuck around with that. You know what I mean? I don't double stuff Oreos, and I don't put my Reese's in different things. You have something that's great for a reason. That's all I'm saying.
I get what you're saying with the perfection. However, I feel like I follow the brand wherever they take me, and I go from everything from a Reese stick to the like the mini versus the big one. Honestly, even in like Easter when they have like the big egg version and you're like 90% peanut butter to 10% chocolate ratio, I love it.
No, I don't play that game. So Chris, you're a 90s bitch. You're 2 for 2, and Gail, you're 2 for 2 on this?
2 for 2.
All right.
Okay, Cheese Nips used to do a thing called sports pizza where because for whatever reason in the 90s, I swear to God, in the early 90s, and I think it has to do with those Ninja Turtles, everything had to be pizza flavored. And any commercial where they were like, and now with new pizza flavoring, I'd be like, yeah, I need that. Pizza flavor was very big in the 90s.
Your pronunciation of pizza is so Southern. I can't even stand it for a second. It's pizza flavored. Pizza flavored. Hey, Chris Stanley, did you do one of these?
We were at Cheese Nips House growing up as opposed to the other cheese-flavored snacks. Yes, I rock the Cheese Nips Sports fucking hard because I love the pizza flavor. Also love Combo's pizza flavor. Pizza flavor was the thing I fucking love to this day.
Me too. And I honestly was like, look at me. I'm just like Michelangelo. I love pizza.
It's pizza, Mom. Mama, let's get the pizza flavored things.
Mom, I need a pizza combo right now.
That is so goddamn funny. I have to say, I missed out on the pizza flavored nips. I know that you I don't want to offend you, Chris, because you grew up in a Nips household, but I never had the taste for it.
Loved them. As an adult,
right.
I've switched over to Cheez Its.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He's mature.
That's a big change. Yeah. This next one, I'm so disturbed to find out, is discontinued. I just thought it was something I grew out of, but this was like a constant as a kid. It's the Flintstones push-ups. Do you remember it was like a frozen pop, and they were like a fruity frozen pop, but they were kind of creamy. Like they almost weren't like a popsicle. And they had like a very weird device where the stick pushes up almost like a frozen pudding snack.
No.
I
No,
love
I
these
don't-
things. I love the push pop aspect. I thought it was very fun as a child.
So pushing up your pop was the fun part of it for you, not so much
Oh,
the
yeah.
taste or
Oh, no,
enjoyment.
the taste wasn't that good, actually. Like
It
it was
added
more
a whole new dynamic to the act of eating an ice cream treat.
I'll just say this: all your parents were bad parents. You know what I mean?
You're my parent.
Yeah, but I had nothing to do with shopping. I'm going to give myself the benefit of that and say I just didn't care as a parent. Not that I made bad choices.
This next one makes perfect sense to me because it's discontinued. It doesn't even look like something that exists on a shelf. They were called Better Cheddars, and it was just like another cheese crunch thing. But like even if you look at the old Nabisco front of it, that looks like something that's like 80s, early 90s, and this font and logo doesn't even exist anymore. Like that had to go.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what we're talking about here. What is it?
Better Cheddars, they were called. It was like it was like a round cheese, crunchy snack.
We had them in my house. They're like a really shitty Ritz cracker. Like when you couldn't afford
Right.
the Ritz crackers, you got a Better Cheddar, and they're fucking
Yeah.
garbage.
They weren't that good, and honestly, I just feel like this was something that was discontinued, and it was probably its time to go.
All these were discontinued, and it makes perfect sense that they were. They all blew up on the launch pad, except for they got the initial big weekend of their commercials,
Right.
forcing children to think they gotta have them.
This next one to me is maybe my most missed nostalgic snack. This should never have been discontinued. They're called PB Crisps. And so it was like almost like a cookie that was shaped like a peanut and filled with peanut butter, like Mr. Peanut butter. PB Crisps.
No idea, Chris.
I never had a PB Crisp, but I also didn't like the Planters products because I thought it was too old-timey as a child. I didn't like Mr. Peanut. I thought it looked like, oh, that's an adult item.
I'm going to tell
Well,
you
you were
right
such
now.
a modern kid.
You missed so bad. I loved a PB Crisp. My brother loved a PB Crisp, and I could be wrong, but I feel like we also shared this with Fez Watley, and I think that he was a fan of a PB Crisp as well.
First of all, 100%. If some new snack or flavored soda or anything in fast food, Fez Watley went out like it was a superhero movie. You know what I mean? Like he would be there first thing in the morning to get it. He loved when they had any kind of new junk food unveiling.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he was a fan. This next one, honestly, probably among my earliest memories is my mother making this for me, and that's oatmeal swirlers. So it was just like a box of oatmeal, of instant oatmeal, and then each box came with a little gel packet of like either strawberry or raspberry jam, and then you would open it up and then be able to draw things in your oatmeal with it. And my mom used to draw me pictures and serve me the oatmeal.
Well, we got to get you to drink oatmeal. You know, you gotta have it. She likes the little drawings in sugar. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this question because this trended today, all right? They're saying Hawaiian Punch doesn't get cold. That no matter how long you leave it in the refrigerator, it comes out tasting warm.
Ew. I've literally never been a Hawaiian Punch fan, and this could be the reason. Maybe I didn't realize that it had never hits maximum coolness before.
It did seem like maybe even the most disgusting of all those kind of drinks. But great commercials, you know what I mean? The idea of how would you like a Hawaiian Punch and then punch someone in the fucking face. Oh, kids aren't going to pick up on that in first grade, are they? They're not going to offer a Hawaiian punch and then punch the other kid. No, I don't think so.
They make a really good point about Hawaiian Punch because I'm thinking back to the last time I drank Hawaiian Punch wasn't that long ago because they used to have Hawaiian Punch at the Serious Kitchen. And even out of a can in a fucking fridge the entire day long, 24 hours a day or whatever, it never felt as cold as it should be. It's a fucking bizarre liquid.
Well, gasoline doesn't get cold either, Chris, so maybe that's what it's made out of. Gail, the funny thing about Chris is as a child, he dressed like the Hawaiian Punch guy.
I never liked Hawaiian Punch because the kids who drank it always had this disgusting red circle around their mouths.
Ew, same.
And I just didn't want to be bothered with them. I felt too good for them, even as an 8-year-old.
And the thing about that is, too, I always found it disgusting because not only did they have that dye, it's just like the fact that they stuck their whole face into the bottle was so gross. Like, to me, I'm like, why do they not even know how to drink? That was a sure sign of a weird kid, 100% of the time.
There was an actual name for that called Kool-Aid Smile, that somebody had a Kool-Aid smile. And, it reminded when people are like the cocaine ring on the end of your nostril. You know what I mean? Like, the kid with a Kool-Aid smile in a few years was going to have the cocaine ring because he's already showing addictive behavior.
Yeah, I think that is disgusting, and I think there might be onto something that it's temperature related, and that to me maybe means that the vessel is not right. It's not letting cold come through.
I think it's the liquid itself. I think it can't be frozen. All right, let's move along, Gail. Let's jump into some of these 90s snacks is what we're talking about. These are all discontinued snacks. And some folks want to bring up, see if you guys remember any of this. Okay. Let's go over to Joe in Utah, Vito. Joe in Utah.
Hey, I got a snack for you, but before I get to that, I'm going to show you how autistic I am by remembering the lyrics to the Better Cheddar's jingle commercial.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, good.
New Better Cheddar's, sourdough baked right in, delicious tasting Better Cheddar's, the San Francisco style snacks in.
Do you guys remember this song?
I do, and again, this kind of jingle, this tells me that this was not meant to last. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
That's a thing of its time.
What's the other snack you remember, Joe?
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was early 90s, maybe late 80s. It's called Doolies. It's like a combo, but instead of pretzel, it's a potato chip, and instead of cheese, it's dip inside the potato chips, shaped like a combo.
Doolies. I don't think I remember that
They were
one.
my favorite.
It sounds very regional. I'm going to be
It
totally
does.
honest. It does not sound like a national product.
It does. I can hear my daughter's really giving my husband a hard time.
I thought that was Earl's niece.
No.
Yeah, we're not working in soundproof studios.
No.
Earlier this week, they were working on my lobby. They decided this was a good time to put stuff up around the mirrors. And I'm
Why
just hearing...
Yeah, I'm literally just sitting in my bedroom right now. Just like
Let's
hiding
go
out
to
in here.
Let's go to Dave in Albany. Dave in Albany.
Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for the laughs as always. This one I loved so much as a kid. It's Butterfinger BBs. I thought they were so great because the Butterfinger candy bar, you get a habit of it gets caught in your teeth. The little BBs, you can just chew a couple and they went down easy. I can't find them anywhere, at least not up here. Maybe they're in the market.
I think they were discontinued, and I agree with you. I think that they're superior. Because here's the thing. Butterfingers are delicious, but they're very overwhelming. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a lot. Where the BB is like a little amuse bouche of a Butterfinger. I feel like that's all you can handle of it. Plus, it was a good movie theater snack.
It's something that, if you look back on that, Gail, they did it with almost every kind of candy bar where they put out that tinier version of it and then have you spend more money than you would for the same amount of Butterfinger when you were at the movies. So the gimmick is brilliant. And they've done this with all kinds of food. Well, first of all, fine dining has went the same way, where you're just saying, oh, this is this delicious little thing. Same price as if you would have paid for a very big piece of it.
Right, exactly. I've got another one here on the list, and this is one I specifically remember the commercial working on me. It's so weird that, like, watching kids' TV and then you're just advertised to as a child and then you run to your parents. It's a very weird thing. But I remember it working very well, and that was Froot by the Foot. And their little slogan, 3 feet of fruity fun, which I think is exactly how I told my mom. I was like, hey, I need something for my lunch this week. You're going to have to pick it up. It's 3 feet of fruity fun. It's Froot by the Foot. Please. This is essential.
Were all the kids doing this, or were you the one who dove in?
I broke the news, really. I was the first one to rock the Froot by the Foot. But by the end of a season, it was in every lunchbox. You know what I mean? I was kind of a trendsetter. It was essentially a fruit roll-up that was very long and skinny, that unrolled like a tape measure of 3 feet.
Oh, my God. That just sounds disgusting to me. Like, do you think you could even eat one now?
No, there's no way. There's no possible way that as an adult I could eat 3 feet of fruit leather. There's no way.
Fruit leather.
It's just disgusting, the thought of it.
It's horrifying. It's a horrifying thing to hear, fruit leather.
And the texture of it was not dissimilar to, say, gum or something. Like, to me, after eating them, it kind of felt like it sat there in your stomach for a long time.
Yeah. It is odd the way the 90s seems so innocent and wrong about everything. Like future generations are going to look back and go, here you have the greatest athlete in the country at the time. And what did he try to talk kids into eating? Big Macs and drinking Coca-Cola. Like, they're not going to believe it. Because do you think that Michael Jordan now, in hindsight, was drinking Coca-Cola and eating Big Macs other than when he got paid to do it?
Honestly, I think in a very short time, that's not going to be unlike you having Tobar the Eighth Man tell you that you should smoke cigarettes to give you strength.
I still think that works. All right, let's jump into another one of these. What do you got, Gail?
This is, again, another bite-sized thing. I remember this, but I remember hating them and finding them totally vile. And that's Jell-O pudding bites. So there were like little hard pudding bites. They were very disgusting.
Now just think about the thing of this pudding that comes around in a piece like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not making fresh pudding at your house. It's literally being shipped to you to eat pudding out of a cup, and then they're going to give you pudding bites.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Absolutely not. Here's another disgusting one, and I'm going to go ahead and say that this should have been discontinued. It was something called Crazy Dips. So similar to other candies that you've seen where, like, you take the candy and it's almost like a lollipop and then you dip it in a sugared thing. Mm-hmm. But this one, Crazy Dips, for reasons unknown, was shaped like a foot. And then you stuck the foot into this sour sugar. It was so gross. The flavor was disgusting. And just the visual of kids sitting there sucking on these sour feet, it was really disgusting. I never understood the point of it.
They went through a thing where you would have sticks that you would put into this, but just think about the fact kids are sharing this. You're licking it off a stick or a foot, and then pressing it back in and licking again. So you're already putting a licked foot into this weird, sugary, sour ass stuff.
Yeah. And I think also Crazy Dips, also the sugar might have even been like the popping one, like almost like a Pop Rocks too. So it was like popping on your teeth. It was sour, and then you were sucking this candy foot. It was very fetishy now that I think of it.
Yes, it's really, really odd. It's a really odd thing. And remember, we had the FDA then, but what were they doing? Just sitting on their hands?
And then here's the last one. Froot Loop cereal straws. It was a straw made of cereal, so it was almost like a long, rolled out single piece of cereal. Then you stuck that into your milk, and then almost like in a backwards scenario, you're drinking milk through cereal flavor, and then you crunch a soggy cereal straw at the end. Not great design. So
I had never even heard of this. This sounds like something the guy should have been fired for this idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember trying it. I remember thinking, being interested in the novelty of it. But I would not say this was a success. This was not a win.
Not
Chris,
a big win for anybody.
Did you ever try cereal straws, Chris?
1 second.
Oh, we lost him.
Chris, you there?
Okay.
I fucking loved cereal straws. I fucking made my mom buy them all the time whenever we saw them in the supermarket.
Oh, you used to go shopping with your mom?
My mom would bring me shopping because she didn't want to leave me at home with my dad, and I was like, "Mommy, let me get the cereal straws."
Remember, when you went shopping with your mom, you would just stay around the cereal aisle, and then you'd go over to the candy aisle or snack aisle. You didn't go around with her while she was buying, lunch meat and vegetables. But why would this woman take so long? I used to say to myself, you really haven't finished yet? Are you terrible at shopping?
Yeah. You could spend your whole time in the cereal aisle while they went through the whole store. Nothing could be more dull than watching your mom pick the right produce that you're definitely not going to eat later.
Terrible. And then she would act like you were going to help. Get me one of those little plastic bags. You're like, what? It's fucking crazy. I'm going back to see what kind of prizes in the cereal.
Also, I'm pretty sure everyone did the thing where even though you would get yelled at, you would run, push the cart, and jump on the front until your mom stop that. You're going to crash into someone.
And she would always act like if you were riding on the front, holding on, riding backwards, and somehow that was dangerous. To this day, I still don't see it that way. Why don't we take a break here? Gail, you can go be a mom for a second. We'll come back.
Appreciate it.
In just a couple of minutes. It's the Bennington Show. All right, back.
Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show.
It was a Thursday at midnight under a gypsy moon. The air was hot, thick, and stunk of steamed crabs. Crabs the size of a banker's thick head. I tore a claw off and sucked the slimy crab meat into my mouth. Huge hunks of crab meat stuck to my face like a baby monkey sucking on its mother's engorged monkey tit. Hell if this crab meat isn't as tasty as monkey tit, I giggled. And that giggle soon rumbled into a huge guffaw. And then hysterical laughter as giant chunks of crab meat flew from my mouth and onto my fat belly. And then silence. The kind of silence that could drive a man to suicide. I picked up my revolver and pointed it to my head. Goodbye, you fat, stupid crab eater, I mumbled. Suddenly, I turned and shot the shadowy figure that was sneaking up on me. My bullet found its way into his large, ugly mouth. You should eat too, amigo, but not crab. Your dinner will be a bullet from my gun. I walked over to his lifeless body, wiped the prints off of my gun with moist, juicy crab meat, and stuck the gun into his left hand. The local coppers will think it's suicide. And then, a fantastic idea. I pulled his zipper down and wrapped his right hand around his stubby pecker. Suicide and masturbation. 2 sins against Jesus. I started to laugh my ass off, thinking of his family, reading the police report. I finished the rest of the crabs under the gypsy moon. Panama, I muttered. Panama. Spitting crab meat at the moon. What the fuck am I doing in Panama? Well, that's a long story, my friend. A long tale. A tale of murder, double-crossers, and even animal rape. And not vaginal rape. Anal rape. Yet another sin against Jesus. Yeah, it's a long story. A real page turner. Trust me, once you start reading this book, the only way you'll stop is if you drop dead. You'll even find out who the guy is that I just shot in the mouth. And don't try to guess, because it's someone different than you will think it is. So, let's get this novel started. But first, I'm going to eat another crab. A crab under the angry, bloody gypsy moon.
Bennington is back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting for the music.
Oh.
Sorry about that, buddy. It is the Bennington Show, and thank you for jumping in like that. That was a great idea. I mean, I didn't hear a lot of confidence, but you did jump back in, Vito. Vito, you've done a bang-up job all week long. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And for the folks listening, if you've always had friends that you wanted to hear this show, SiriusXM is running a 3-month special, zero money, that you could just sign up for 3 months, costing you nothing. So we'll make sure we get all that stuff up on social media as well. It is the Bennington Show, 844-ROCK-GOD, 844-ROCK-GOD. Vito, what's it been like being in Midtown every day?
Every day, it seems like there's less and less people. I mean, like, this week has been pretty empty in the building, but Corona Friday is even emptier here.
Yeah.
I ran this morning from my apartment here, and I ran through Central Park and Columbus Circle, and there was just nobody there. I ran down Fifth Avenue, nobody there. It was just empty. Rockefeller Center completely empty. There's just nobody around.
You definitely had the Vanilla Sky experience of running down the west side of New York City and not seeing everybody. And when that movie came out, it was like the scariest scene ever, and now it's reality. Gail, are you back with us?
I am back, and I'm holding a sleeping baby.
Aww.
Yeah. I think she knows that I'm in here doing the show every day, so when it's time for her nap, she's like, I know she's in there, so might as well just let my mom put me down for my nap.
She likes it better when you're holding her when she has to go to sleep?
Yeah.
No, that's very, very sweet. It's so funny how they have that clock going, you know what I mean? Like, she takes a nap the same time every day. She can't tell time. She doesn't know that it's nap time, and yet it is.
And then the interesting thing is that she adjusted because when she was, when she was in daycare and like her regular schedule, she was slept at noon, and everything is moving back. She goes to sleep later. She sleeps in a little later. She's on quarantine time.
Yeah, good. So am I. I'm up all night and have to be woken up for this show. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. There was a thing, I think it's up on the iBang today, where Shaq crashed a first grade class for their video chat because I guess he had a friend there or something. But what amazes me is why would first graders know who Shaq is?
I know.
You know what I mean? That's weird. Yeah. I was also thinking about, we were talking about the snacks that people miss. Is there anything else out there that you think would be perfect at this time? Like I saw that Jimmy Kimmel is bringing back Millionaire for a week. And I'm like, fuck yeah. I definitely want to watch some primetime Millionaire. I remember in 99 when Millionaire came on, and it was like, before they burn it out too fast, people were like staying home because it felt like you could win Millionaire, unlike most games.
Yeah. I have one that I've been thinking of all week, and I miss HQ trivia so much right now. I think that would be something that would be unifying all of us, and every day we would be going, I can't wait for the HQ alert.
I know. I liked it when it was. They ruined it for me when they started where you could buy an extra question. I'm like, well, that's defeating the purpose here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want the fucking $20 or whatever. I want to be able to beat this puzzle. Hey, speaking of puzzles, I've been watching people putting puzzles together online. And for some reason, I'd rather do that than do a puzzle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like one of those things like where it's weirdly stimulating. Like there's like weird slime videos where people who make slime and sell slime, but then they just make videos of them squishing it. And you're like, well, this is just as good as having it, I think.
I don't want to put together a puzzle, but I like checking on Bonnie McFarlane. Like, hey, you got a lot of that puzzle done. Saw it yesterday. You didn't have much. Bonnie McFarlane's album is dropping today, and she's she's got a very good lead on Amy Schumer. But like I said, Amy's not a vegan.
Yeah, don't forget that. That's your snacks and your food choices are very important when you pick your quarantine mate.
Fez Watley, we just put a picture up. He's at his doctor today, and he was very nervous about going to the doctor, hoping that people weren't going to be in the waiting room and all that kind of stuff. So there he is. He's wearing his gloves. He's holding his cane, and his wearing a face mask. And his beard is enormous. His beard looks like a giant whisk broom. It's Amish almost. It's not even Santa Claus now. It's Amish.
It's so massive. I can't believe it. And I do think that that's not under regulation. Remember when they were saying the best facial hair, so you're not spreading?
Yeah.
It's like... so.
I let mine come in this week, and I'm like, no, by Monday I got to shave because it's a little depressing. It's a little depressing to have a beard. You know what I mean? You're just like, right. I don't know. Have I given up completely? I wanted to get all of you were just wearing your, what did you call them? Third tier shirts all week?
Yeah, I'm wearing a lot of third tier shirts. These are shirts that I have in my drawer, but never in a million years would I have worn them to work. So I'm like, I feel good that I'm getting up and I'm getting dressed and I'm treating it like I have to get ready for the day. But let's be honest, this is nothing that I was wearing.
Nothing you would have ever worn to work. Yeah, you would never worn that to work. Also, if you look at the Fez Watley picture, this is hilarious to me. And he's rocking his Buck shirt because he's already got it in his mind, 2 years with Tom Brady, 2 rings. He honestly believes that this 43-year-old man is going to bring a championship back to Tampa after all these years.
I love it. I love that he believes.
But I know where this goes. I know the heights that he falls when his team goes back to being a piece of shit again. They've only, since the Super Bowl in like 2002, they've only been played one playoff game since then.
And yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think they ever even had a that much of a decent year. And even that year, wasn't it not like, oh, they thought they were gonna go to the Super Bowl? They were like, didn't they just kind of eke in kind of thing?
Vito, why did you send us that picture of Chris Stanley?
Because I think when you asked Gail for her picture, Chris took that as him too. So he sent that to me and said, could you please send this to everybody?
First of all, it's hilarious that he thinks we want a picture of him in a wife beater. And it looks like he's in the dark. This is a very depressing picture with his little wag. I mean, he looks like he's in quarantine in Cyprus. You know what I mean?
He does.
Also, the concept was things you would never wear to work, and there's multiple photos of Chris wearing a wife beater inside the studio at work.
That's a good point. Just the idea is he didn't put on his top shirt. That's what he didn't do here.
He's feeling really good about finally getting out of top shirts. That's been very relaxing for him. That's hilarious. No, of course we'll put that up. But Gail, do you have your pictures for all week? I thought maybe we could make like a little collage with them.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll send those over.
All right, people want to know this about the Fez picture. Make sure that you take a look at it. Boom writes in about Fez Whatley. And why is there blood on his cane?
Oh, my God.
All right. Now, Daryl calls him Johnny Corona Seed. Like he's dragging Corona all around. CM says he's going to catch everything but a dick with that thing. Steve McShane said it certainly deserves a 10-bell salute. No, I hope not. And then Sean says, I guess we won't see him at WrestleMania after all. Hilarious. So the baby is sleeping right on your lap?
Yeah, she's passed out. It took, I mean, just in the time that we were in break. Like, that's how tired she was. She went out that quick.
And that's what the crying's about. It's like, I'm so tired, I'm going to start crying. That sounds so relaxing to be able to do that, you know?
It's just like, I just simply can't go on. I need to shut down right now. Maybe if we all did that, we would be better off. Instead, we're just like, I don't know why I'm so irritable. I don't know what's going on. Just shut down for a little bit.
You know, you get that blood sugar thing and you get angry with people. Instead of doing what you should do, just start crying. You just should start sobbing. I just don't like this feeling that I have. It's the Bennington show on a Friday. If it was up to me, we would just keep working through Saturday and Sunday because I don't have a lot going on other than these 3 hours. These 3 hours of the day are the best part of my entire day.
Yeah, it's the best.
Vito, how's your weekend planned? Because you're out of all of us, you're the guy that normally has a busy weekend.
I'm gonna just stay home and like not do anything. I might go for a run, but I want to get some of this quarantining in that everybody's been doing.
Yeah, you need some of that.
That's a good point.
Is your mom working from home?
My mom worked today, Wednesday, and Monday, and I think that's her current schedule is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
And she doesn't have any fears of going out or worrying about any of that stuff, huh?
I mean, I think she's getting a little more worried every day. It's definitely like the chill like nature she had last week. I don't think it's as relaxed anymore, and I think like she's starting to realize that she has to be careful.
That's the funny part about it is that you're going to come around whether you were there early or not. you just see the whole world stop, and you're like, yeah, I guess I'm stopping. I guess I'm stopping too. I didn't believe. I mean, I was like so depressed when they canceled the New York City Creep Show, because we had waited for that one for so long.
Oh, I know.
A big sold out show. Chris was going to sing. Vito was going to do announcements. Gail was going to run the panel. We were going to bring Earl up. It was going to be like a true celebration, a Thanksgiving show style celebration. And that was the first show canceled.
I know, and it was also like going to be a family affair. Everybody was going to have their families there. I was going to bring Juju. I was very sad. That one was really sad.
Yeah, that one was tough to handle. But then you turn around and when I saw that Live Nation canceled every fucking tour out there, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, that was bigger than when the NBA shut down.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. I was thinking, like, what was the first big thing? And I guess that was South by Southwest, right? That was kind of like the first major cancellation.
And yet that one didn't bother me as much, because I'm like, okay, that thing is always a madhouse. You know what I mean? But and I was at the stand that night, and I'm just about to go on stage, and people are texting me. They just shut down the NBA season, and Tom Hanks has the virus. And I'm like, holy fuck. Neither one of these did I see coming at all. Uh-oh. Yeah. Uh-oh. I was going to ask you guys this, because you normally follow along with social media. What happens to the influencers? I mean, aren't these the people that take a trip to Greece and take pictures of it?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who travel influencers, people who are just, they get free vacations and then they tell you where to hang out. There's people who it seems like their influencing is just going to exotic places and doing yoga on the beach. That seems to be a thing. I like, what are they going to influence us to do now? Because like, we can't do anything anyway. I feel like there's nothing to influence.
I guess not. I mean, I guess they can influence us how to stay at home. Maybe Jenny Hutt with her movement thing is going to be bigger than ever. Is she on the air now, Vito?
I'm not sure, but I can find out.
Yeah, I mean, if she's around, we could give her a call. But she always, I don't know whether you guys follow her on social media, but like today, or it was, I guess a lot of this stuff was last night. I mean, she looked like she had a little case of the fears going. And then today she was just running in place over and over and over. What are you going to do? We're both those people, I guess.
Exactly. This is another thing, is I feel like influencers do a lot of unboxing. I'm not sure that's anything we need right now, because it's either stuff that, like, it kind of feels like everything we're able to purchase now. It's like we're all unboxing everything. You know what I mean? No one's going to stores. It just takes the fun out of it.
This is really not the time for luxury. You know what I mean?
No.
Later we will thrive, but today, let's just survive. Let's just keep it moving along.
I was thinking of how much money I'm going to save on makeup.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'm definitely not going to have to be wearing as much of it. That's for sure.
Yeah. My coffee intake has really come down a lot because the days are shorter, and I'm not putting that out. Of course, cab money. Because, you know what I mean? I like to ride in a little bit of style. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I would only be in cigar cabs.
Yeah, and then it's also the thing of, if you dine out, if you enjoy takeout, there are like a lot of things that you're like, I guess I'm just staying at home making some beans, really saving some money.
Really, really cutting back a little bit, whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
Also, you guys got to follow along with Jimmy Schubert. He's been hysterical on here as well. He always has a different kind of take. It's also really sad when you see how many people going back and showing their old stand-up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And you're
A
like,
lot of
yeah,
people
they're
doing
just like,
that.
here's a clip of mine from last year. Hope you like it.
Dude, Yamanika Saunders is another one that you should follow her on Instagram. But she had a thing today where she was just pointing out everybody on New York One and how obviously the makeup artists and hair people aren't coming in.
That's fucking great.
It's so damn funny. Even pointing out that Pat Kiernan, you normally see him well make-upped as well, and like how weird it is. I also, I love any New York One content because I no longer get it.
Oh, that's right. You're off the New York One.
Yeah,
Well, it's
really-
kind of sad now anyway. It's not the best time to watch New York One. I mean, the whole point of New York One was never for the sad news, but just like some little bodega that had something,
Right.
and we're kind of missing out on all those kind of stories. Even like, the entertainment shows are just showing you how the celebrities are handling the quarantine. And I'm like, I don't think I need to see that. You know what I mean?
No.
And I do appreciate any celebrities that are showing ass now. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
That's really
I don't look
thoughtful.
I don't look at it as sick ass either. You know what I mean? Like I'm not actually with them, so it's fine.
Yeah, no biggie.
No biggie at all. No hill for a high stepper. Hey, what's the GameStop story that's going around?
I think that was, I think Chris was the one who brought that to my attention, and that it's that GameStop is calling itself, trying to say that it's one of the essential businesses, I believe.
Now, GameStop is where they sell video games?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, here's the thing. Grab Chris for me, Vito. Here's the thing that I don't understand. Can't you just more or less stream any video games? Do you still need the physicality of a video game?
No, you don't, because every single modern system, your PlayStations, your Switches, your Xboxes, you download the games. So people are pissed at GameStop because they've been like pushing their employees to come to work. They're like, you got to come to work, and you have to bring your own hand sanitizer and like Clorox wipes and stuff. And they're trying to say that we are an essential business right now. We need to stay open, and so everyone's pissed at GameStop.
I'll tell you this. I wish, I got rid of my video game. I wish I fucking had it right now. Because I'd be dominating, winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl, Especially, I think they immediately moved Tom Brady over to the Buccaneers. Now, Chris, you've always been my sports guy, and sports is slow enough now that even you can keep up with it. So I'm going to ask you, where do you think Jameis Winston is going, or does he stay as a backup?
Jameis Winston, I do not believe he stays the backup in Tampa Bay. I hear and I believe he's going to go to the Washington Redskins, and they're going to take.
Did he fall off, Vito?
We lost him.
Yeah, he just
or
dropped.
He's on mute.
That was smart because he just got stupider and stupider as we were going along. He had this thing of feeling like he was going to go right down the way this thing was going to play out in a quarterback war, and he fell off completely. I'll tell you
Maybe
this.
he dropped on purpose.
Yeah, that's smart. That's a really good idea. Well, Ron, I have this all figured out. Click. And then he's out of there. And I'm like, damn, he had it all, too. Fuck, I feel so bad about that because he was about to nail it. I'm going to tell you this, Gail. I honestly don't think there's going to be a football season this year. I think they're not going to be able to say, hey, it's important that we get out there and play ball. And I can't imagine that they would play without crowds, But it looks like athletes have more coronas than anybody else.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Like at this point, there's so many people who've showed up in the NBA, and it's one of those things where like, did it run through the NBA, or this is any profession, but people of a certain status seem to be getting tested. It's hard to tell.
Well, they have their own doctors, you know what I mean? Like every team has a doctor, and I guess, and no other,
right.
clients, you know what I mean?
Right.
So they're able to get stuff and do it. And obviously there's people mad about that, but is anybody really shocked that that's the way the world has always worked? That
Always,
rich people
yeah.
get stuff before everybody else?
Mhm.
I went to now I'm looking at a Mediaite headline, and I never know whether it's going to pay off or not. But it says Trump completely loses it on a reporter, and I've always wanted to see him have an angry thing. I've never seen it before. But what do you think? We're going to end up being disappointed in the headline?
I hope not, because I would really like to see that.
Yeah. Vito, see if you can grab that. It's Mediaite. It's right at the top. Trump completely loses it on NBC's Peter Alexander. And it just says that he says to him, "You are a terrible reporter." It's the Bennington show. We have the weekend off. We should be back with you again on Monday, depending on how all this stuff holds up. I mean, our intention is to be here on Monday. They say even if they stop any movement in D.C., we'll be able to broadcast it. I mean, out of New York, we'll be able to broadcast it out of D.C. And we both we surely want to be here with you while we're doing this. Vito, did you have any luck with that at all?
Yeah, I found it. I'm pulling it up right now. Give me 1 second.
Sure, you got all the time you need. And stop trying to buy time by. All right, so you always know you're going to. I know you're always going to start with the ad, but you also don't have to kill time by dragging one out. You know what I mean? We understand.
One moment.
I'm going to totally be honest. Vito is the overall MVP of the Corona, the Bennington Corona season, and I don't see. I mean, I would call the game right now what he's able to pull off. Not only is in there running the board and everything, he's manning the phones, he's grabbing stuff online for us. If the baby gets upset, he walks her for a while, pats her on the back until she feels better.
Well, I don't know if
All
I'm
right,
doing all that.
You got it now, Vito?
I'm listening through to find the spot where he does it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. They do put too much of everything online instead of just the exciting part. You're getting like a huge part of it going down.
I mean, you would think that they would learn from this world now. Like, we really can't handle much more than a 25-second clip.
Yeah. And we just want the action. And I want to live. I want some action. I got 70s bitch on you real fast there. Real fast. If you're just tuning in, there's a great picture of Fez Watley up on our social media. He wandered out of his house today because he needed his meds for his spine. He gets pain medication because his spine is twisting up like a pretzel. And he, for some reason, has gloves on, his mask, and then it looks like a bloody cane that he walks around in.
Blood spattered cane.
A very big dumb buck shirt because he suddenly believes that a 43-year-old man is ready to carry him on. Because guess what? If Bill Belichick, smartest guy in the history of professional football for coaching, has no idea when a player is finally done. You know what I mean? He has no idea and just traded away magic at 43 years old.
I have the clip.
All right, let's take a listen. This is Trump supposedly losing it on a reporter.
We you say the Americans who are scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. I think it's a very nasty question, and I think it's a very bad signal that you're putting out to the American people. The American people are looking for answers, and they're looking for hope. And you're doing sensationalism, and the same with NBC and Comcast. I don't call it Comcast, I call it Comcast. Let me just, for who you work, let me just say something. That's really bad reporting. And you ought to get back to reporting instead of sensationalism. Let's see if it works.
I don't think he really melted down there. I thought he gave his normal response when he doesn't like a question.
Yeah, I mean, he loves to tell people they're terrible at his job. I mean, that's his favorite thing to do.
But that's control for him. That's a control thing. I always wanted to see him have the, the batshit, what the fuck is, you know what I mean? Like, I love to see anybody. And obviously, I've done it. I've seen everyone I know do it. It's always funny to me when someone just loses their shit. Like when Earl would just throw something or break something. Sure. It's always hysterical. Yeah. I'm very disappointed, media. I think you got to do better, okay? Stop sensationalizing. Give us what we need. Did we ever get Big Chris back?
We did. Chris.
I'm here, Ron.
Hi, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. I apologize before. I was trying to make a point and my phone dropped out. I apologize.
No. You knew you didn't have a point and you dropped yourself out. I admire it. You know what I mean? It's very Bugs Bunny. Very, very Bugs Bunny.
I'm all over this.
It was like... it was just like when Justin Bieber that time during an interview said, if you just give me a moment, and walked out, went right to his car and left. You know what I mean? It's so much funnier than saying this interview is over. You know, it was like, let me go get something, and then you're gone. We always used to do a bit like you'd be at a party. It'd be like a cocktail party, right? And you would go up to a Chris Stanley and go, Chris, what are you drinking right now? And tell me what you're drinking, Chris.
Jameson on the rocks.
Jameson on the rocks. Got it. Just one, or you need two?
I would love two.
Yeah. And then you go, all right, wait right here. I'll be right back. And then you just go in the other room and sit down and just start enjoying yourself. And that person is sitting without a drink. And it would be just oddly the perfect thing. Can I get you something to eat with that? You want a little sandwich or something? We got sandwiches out there. Just make a really big deal how you're taking care of them and then never once come back to them. And then when they come looking for you, you're like, and like Chris would be like, hey, where's my drink? Just go like this in front of other people. It's time you start and got your own fucking drinks. You know what I'm saying? We're not all your maids here. We're not here to wait on you. Boy, someday we'll get back to that, huh? Someday we'll get back to being pricks.
Yeah.
I think so.
Chris, do you have any belief at all that Fez is going to get 2 Super Bowl wins out of this guy?
Zero. This is not going to fucking happen, okay? Bruce Arians isn't Bill Belichick. What made the Patriots successful was Bill Belichick and fucking Tom Brady. They worked well together. They might not have liked each other towards the end, but
all right. So let me ask you this: can Belichick win without Brady? Because if he doesn't do that, you know what I mean. If he doesn't do that, it proves that it was all Brady. I think I'm going to really start rooting against Boston now. And that's right. I call him Boston. I'm not calling them all New England. Stop it with that. Hey, she's got the movement going on. You know why, Gail? She likes to move it. She likes to move it. Our own Jenny Hutt. Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Hello. How are you two holding up?
Well, we're always great. I got a little concerned about you laying in bed last night. You got a little nervous. You know, you've been so positive during that. To seeing you have a little meltdown made me nervous.
A little bit. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am. You're right. the whole hashtag movement is real. But I was doing that before this whole crazy Corona thing. I just find it's helping now more than ever.
I understand. We weren't paying attention to you before, but now we are because it's the Corona. You know what I mean? This thing has paid off for you in spades. You know?
Oh, God.
It's bunny eyes, and I guess you march in place.
Well, no, it's at Just Jenny Hut. It's on my Instagram at Just Jenny Hut, and I just exercise every day, and I'm telling everybody to move their bodies, because when we move our bodies, it quiets our brains, and I think our brains are all kind of scrambled right now, and I think many of us are a little bit freaked out, right? Now,
I'm going to ask a question. Maybe it's a dumb question, or are there no dumb questions? You know, for the movement, does masturbation count?
Sure, any kind of movement that you choose to make counts, Ron.
Yeah. All right. So I'm I'm checking my thing. I only did 6 steps yesterday, but masturbated for 9.5 hours. So I feel like I'm coming into this. It's so funny to me when I see people like, I'm just rearranging everything, and I go, oh, I never once thought of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never thought
those
of
are
tidying up my desk. Yeah. But what kind of what is your movement every day? What are you doing?
So I like to make sure I get 10,000 steps in. So I have a mini elliptical that I think that you're talking about. I'm on it a lot on my Instagram story because there's nothing to hold on to. So it just looks like I'm marching in place, but I'm not. I'm on a little piece of cardio, and then I have a bike. Of course, I have a Peloton, so I take classes, and I have a treadmill. I mean, I feel like if I spend my hours in motion, I don't have as much time to think. And because when I start to think, that's when I'm not in such a good headspace.
All right, so thinking is your enemy right now.
Right now it is. I mean, how are you dealing with this?
You know me. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Gail, how's Gail?
She's wonderful.
I'm doing great. I did get 10,000 steps in yesterday just because I have a toddler, which I was shocked when my Fitbit buzzed, and I was like, how is this possible? How did I do 10,000 steps in my own home?
Because you're saying constantly, don't climb.
You can.
Exactly.
Anybody can do it. You could dance in place. You can jump rope. You could just walk around your apartment like you did. I mean, we can all get steps in, but it's not about, for me, that's my metric, but for anybody, it could be anything else.
So you're doing it. It's all happening with the movement. You feel like you got people every day. I noticed you redoing stuff. And people are like, I need Jenny to help me move.
Well, I think right now I know everybody is like, we are all in it together. I know it sounds trite and absurd, but actually we are. So, and we all have to do right by one another and stay where we are, stay in our homes best as as much as we can. Obviously, there's some people who can't do that, and I know that you guys are incredibly grateful to the healthcare workers, as am I, and people who are delivering food and packing groceries and all of that. But if you can stay home, and then we're all home separately together. Just that's what we have to do right now.
Look, if the country asked me to do anything else but relax, I would probably not be good. But on this, I'm on the front lines of staying on my couch. You know what I mean?
Okay, so Ron, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What is wrong with the people who could be staying home and are like, I'm just going to go out and spring break a bit?
Well, they're young. I mean, I was dumb when I was younger. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Well, now they have Kylie Jenner telling them to stay home, so maybe they'll listen.
Well, that'll work.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
She's a voice of a generation.
By the way, which one's Kylie, Gail? I never know who they all are.
She's the one who is, I guess she's the richest one. She's, I think, the youngest one or the second youngest one. Not the model, but the kind of more like the influencer, sex bot looking one.
The thing is, one looks like she's a Kardashian, and then the other one looks like old school Bruce Jenner, like literally like Bruce Jenner from the 70s.
Yeah, that one's Kylie.
Yeah. And I guess Bruce is dead now? Is that how it works out, or?
Right.
We lost him.
He's gone.
I think he
Or
should
no,
have had to
Kendall.
give his medal back. Yeah. But yeah, if you look at pictures of Kendall, there was one of her running naked. It looks like Bruce Jenner in the 70s. It actually freaked me out a little bit. Yeah. So is that what you're saying? I guess, Jenny, if that you move enough, we'll all look like Bruce Jenner?
I am. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was so proud of him that summer. I was so excited. I like when America wins things. That's why I'm sad. It looks like we probably won't have an Olympics this year, right?
Oh, no, there's
I mean,
no way,
I
right?
don't know how we can. Well, they certainly won't have spectators.
I'll say this. Everybody should boo when China comes out. Boo. Chinese flu. Now, I don't know whether you saw the guy from Lost, and he got the bug, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he put out a thing where he said, look, I got this, and I just want to say to the ignorant people out there, yes, I'm Asian, but I never got this in China. I got this in New York City, and I don't appreciate people calling it the thing. I'm like, New York City? Where'd you get it? Chinatown? Is that where you picked this up at? But you're no blame, right, Jenny? You don't think this has to do with bat soup or any of this stuff. We just got to keep moving and being positive.
I think we just have to do what we've been told by the medical experts. I mean, I think that's what I think. I mean, I'm not placing blame on anybody. I think that we just have to now, people can't be jerks and stay home and stay 6 feet from people when you have to leave your house. Like, just, again, like you just said, it's not that hard to do. It might be frustrating, but it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to be heroic about.
Right.
Yeah. I'm very, very good at being lazy. I'm one of the best. Now, see, the thing about Jenny, she's not lazy. She's marching in place. She's doing stuff. And at any point of the day, you'll just hear her husband or her 2 kids go like this. Stop it. Stop it. Driving me nuts right now. Stop it. Last night, Gail, her husband had to say, could you turn off your phone? I sleep nude.
It's true. It's true. He was trying to get in the bed.
He was trying to get in the bed, and he feels like he doesn't have a moment where he can't scratch his ass because she has the phone on.
Yep. Try to be connected. I try to stay connected. You've always talked to me about that, Ron, actually. You've always said that I am too accessible.
You were way too accessible. You know what I mean? You're way too. She's answering every question. She's there for everybody.
You give, Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just worried that your family's going to get rid of you. I think they're going to put you away.
I hope not.
All right. We love you, honey.
All right.
And,
love you guys.
Love you, Jenny.
Yeah.
Ron, I'll talk to you on the Instagram. Be well.
Okay. Take care
All
of
right,
yourself.
Gail.
Okay. Bye.
Take
Love
care
you,
of that
Jenny.
little cute baby. Goodbye. Love you guys.
I
Bye.
will.
Bye.
See ya.
I forgot. She, what is that called? She slides into my whatever, DMs?
DMs. She does.
Yeah. And she'll just write, just like really nice stuff. And then I'll write some horrible joke back to her.
That sounds about right. That's your relationship.
Yeah. I guess that's friendship. You know what I mean? In this, and in these crazy times. I think you could dance along with Ron. Maybe that'll be my new thing. You know what I mean? I just really play old Jay Giles, and you're supposed to dance along with me.
That's how you
Better
get
than
your
running
steps
in place. Yeah. I must have got 20 before I stopped. You should tell her to retweet that thing, Vita, so people can dance along with Ron. That's going to be the new thing. Hysterical. Well, we're going to wrap this up, and I hate to say it, but we're not on in the weekend.
No,
I would much rather we were.
It's gonna be strange, right? I think as if this isn't weird enough, having this time every day to be able to talk to each other makes it feel somewhat like we have a connection. So it'll be weird to see how Saturday, Sunday feels. Yeah,
I might be just putting all you guys on a call together, and then and then having each listener call, and we'll connect them all, and see if we can't get just everybody on the same phone call together. But remember, on this phone call, only Ron talks. Isn't that
Okay.
egotistical? Just Ron should be talking right now, unless I say your name. So
Everyone else
fucking
mute.
Mute yourself. Or if you have a point that you can't finish, be like Chris and just act like you dropped off, rather than you didn't know where you were going with it. Proud of Chris Stanley, proud of Vito, concerned about Earl running around, taking videos in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I feel the same. Vito has been amazing coming in each day and kind of doing this on his own. I feel like Chris made some really responsible choices, and I'm glad we get to stay connected. And Earl took some really great photos, I'm concerned, but yes.
He told me he's going to take one tonight laying on the subway tracks as
Please
the
don't, Earl.
train comes over. Yeah, he's got to get those shots. Earl is weirdly, like the president is now a wartime president, Earl has become a wartime correspondent, and no one saw that coming.
No.
All right, here's something that I hate about connecting. So, everybody that, I know we're trying to, for whatever reason, is connect with each other. And I get a thing of from Rap, right? My buddy Rap.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just telling me the number of my old friends or even just acquaintances. He's got this long list of people who have OD'd and died. And he's like, it's an epidemic. And I'm like, well, that's not the epidemic that's on the news. You know what I mean?
No.
That's guys that refuse to stop partying.
Yeah, please don't read me this sad list. This is the
No.
saddest list anyone has ever made.
We don't have enough time left in the show, Gail, to for me to read this entire list. I always say between Rap and Flathead, they're always my bearers of bad news. They'll let me know, some horrible, tragic event, and they check in with us. But yeah, and that happened during the show. It's all part of it. Let me check with Chris Stanley before we break out of here. Chris, what do you plan on doing this weekend?
Ron, I don't know what I'm doing. I really haven't thought ahead past 5 p.m. I'm going to guess I might go into the backyard. I don't know, but I won't be leaving the house as far as I can tell.
Why do you feel safe about the backyard now that this thing is airborne?
Didn't realize it was airborne, but it's just, no one's in the backyard, so that seems. I thought that maybe seems safer.
All right, I do. I agree with you. It seems safer. I think you could be safe in the backyard as long as you do the wash-up stuff, which I know you hate to do.
Down, Ron. There's a hose back here.
Squirt it down your pants, and then you're in having a sandwich and watching TV. We should probably get some movie club going for next week. All of us pick a movie together and watch it, and then come back and discuss it. Doesn't even have to be a new movie. It could be something that we,
That sounds good.
I think it would be funnier to do something from like the 80s, and now come back and critique it as if it came out today.
I think that's great. I would love to get movie club going.
I'll say this. If you look at, if you read any kind of list online of, the great movies of the 70s or the great movies of the 80s, the 90s, if you look at those three decades, in the 70s and 90s, people really will pick the best made great movies, movies that adults would enjoy. But the 80s, they'll throw Breakfast Club in there. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I know it's fun. I know it's fun to watch, but look how if you look at the 90s, they don't throw Clueless on the fucking list.
I know, it's really weird. Breakfast Club is one of those movies where, like, those types of movies will show up, and you're like, if you really watch them again, they might make you feel nostalgic, or you're like, oh man, I haven't seen this in so long. It's comforting, but that's not a good film. I mean, it's the freeze frame alone in the end should tell you that's not a good film.
Hey, 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 hey! That song went to number 1, Gail, with a bullet. Out of all the John Hughes movies, I watched one the other night that I haven't seen, maybe since it came out, and that's Some Kind of Wonderful. Do you guys even remember that?
I remember it, but I haven't seen it in ages.
All right, it's basically Pretty in Pink with instead of a redhead as the girl, you have the redhead as the guy. All right, so this is what we're going to do Monday. This is perfect for us. Go back and watch it. I think it's on Amazon Prime, if I'm not wrong, and it's called Some Kind of Wonderful. And first of all, you'll be able to see how John Hughes is just like basically kept the same script until he got to, a certain point in it. But I think it's because he was mad at himself for kowtowing to the audience, I think, in Pretty in Pink, and he kind of wanted to redo it a little bit.
Yeah.
But Eric Stoltz is now the redhead from the poor part of town. There was something about John Hughes where he put a lot of things that there was a rich part of town and a poor part of town.
Right. It's all about class, the classist situation with him.
Yeah, it was the way that the white people divided himself. There's really no blacks that run through his entire universe. And for some reason, they remake a Stones song without fucking playing the original. It drives me a little crazy in there. All right, we got to get ready to wrap this up. I'm going to just say to everybody, thanks so much for all the phone calls today. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your call. Maybe we'll do that check-in thing as we go along with this, just so that we all remember that we're all connected. I know this is a weird time. We all get that it's a weird time, but we're doing it. We're going to come out on the other side of this. Gail, thanks so much for everything. I know it's difficult with Juju wanting your attention when you're home, but, it's working out. Vito, MVP-do. He's the MVP-do, everybody. And Chris Stanley is the guy at this point. He's matured as this came over. He realized that he had licked somebody who had the virus and thought to himself, maybe it's better that I don't go into Sirius XM. Smart move, Chris.
Thanks, Ron. I'm trying to do my part, by taking myself out of society.
And what is number 1 on that? We don't lick strangers, okay? Even if it seems like it's a nice man that we meet, we don't lick them. Bonnie McFarlane has an album dropping today. Make sure you follow her on the socials and pick it up. She's just absolutely hysterical. That's it for us. Anybody got anything they need to say before we go?
Peace. Stay home, everybody.
Stay cool, man.